Hello, everybody. Today we're going to cover another chapter in contemporary issues in special education. Today is our final video, and I kind of saved the best for last. This is something that I've been struggling with, especially right now during distance learning, hybrid learning, the unknowns in the school system right now. So we are going to talk about chapter 17, which is family engagement. How do we create an inclusive school community? A little introduction into this. According to the book and according to the things that I have witnessed in the school system is lack of family engagement is one of the biggest challenges facing public schools today, especially right now, in my opinion. With students learning from home, some teachers teaching from home, some teachers teaching from their classrooms. That lack of communication between families and staff is lacking, and it is super challenging right now. Parents are saying that the only time that they hear from the school is when there's a problem. I know that I struggle with that as a teacher. If a student is struggling, or if they are if they have a bad grade, or if their behavior is bad, that's the time that I do contact parents. I struggle with keeping positive contacts throughout the weeks and the months, just to tell them that their student's doing well. So I know that is a big problem. We as teachers need to improve our communication, not just when there's a problem or when it's a bad thing, but also to praise their students, just to let them know what's going on, what assignments they might have, or just to talk and let them know what's going on during school and see what's going on at home as well. So, presenting the topic, how do we overcome this? This is a question that I have thought about in my head multiple times, but with the ever-changing school system right now, it's been really hard to kind of dial in and figure it out. So, number one, we need to develop a meaningful family communication plan. This needs to be something that school-wide, all teachers should follow the same communication plan, as well as administrators and the such. So I believe that the first step would be the school as a whole coming together to come up with a communication plan that might work. This might be using Google Docs, Google Forms. It might be like a daily send-home journal. It might just be via email, or like a running Google Doc that the teachers can all go put in how the student did that day, so that the parents can see that on a weekly basis, a daily basis, whatever might work best for the school. I know having so many students, it can be difficult to keep up with that on a daily basis, so maybe a weekly basis might be better. But having the school come up with a plan that's best for the school in a whole, I think is step number one. We need to improve communication, maybe family volunteer time, improving the learning at home, and collaboration between the parents and the teacher, so that the student can get the best out of their education. Why did I choose this chapter? I chose this chapter because I struggle. Not only do I struggle with a method of communication that's best, because all parents have a different, some like email, some like phone call, some like text message. So all the parents are different in their preferred method of communication, so it's hard for me to kind of keep in track. I want to come up with a plan that is overall for all parents, so that it's easier on all of us. I'm not having to go and look at, what is this parent's form of communication, which that's what I'm doing right now, and it's working, but it is difficult, and it takes a lot more time. I want to be able to improve this, especially right now. I was in remote learning, and then I was back in the classroom in a 5-to-1 ratio, and now I'm back to remote learning. So parent contacts are so important right now, letting the parents know what's going on, where their student needs to be, how they need to be learning, what they need to be doing. So I'm working on improving that for this next few weeks before Christmas time. But then after that, I want a good, solid method of communication for all parents, all students for after that. Some pros of good parent-teacher communication. 1, it helps all students, SPED or not SPED. As long as you're communicating with those parents and letting them know what they're struggling with, what are they successful with, what they need to do, it's going to improve and be help to all of those students. Number 2, it improves social and emotional success. So when you think about it, if the parents and the teachers know what's going on socially and emotionally with their students, it's going to help them overcome that and be more successful in those areas. It's going to improve their academics if the parents and teachers can communicate on what they're missing, what they need to improve on. If they have opportunity to redo an assignment, it's going to improve their academics overall. Number 4, it's going to provide positive relationships between parents and teachers, between parents and students, and between teachers and students. This is going to provide those positive relationships so that parents know that they can come to the teacher when they need help or when they have a question and feel like they are welcome to do so. And number 5, it's overall a positive thing for students. I know some of my students kind of cringe whenever I say I'm going to talk to their mom or whatever. But it's not to get them in trouble. It's just to let them know what's going on so that we can better help the students and overall better help them in their education. There's only a few cons that I'm going to talk about. 1, it can be difficult. Like I said, I can call parents 3-4 times, not get an answer. Their voicemail box is not set up. Yada yada, follow up with an email or a text. They still sometimes don't respond. So sometimes it's really hard. I know a lot of times if I do get that hardship to respond, reaching out to the students and being like, hey, have your mom call me. That sometimes works as well. Number 2, it involves more planning and time. Like I said, I think the schools need to come up with an overall communication plan for all teachers to use that's helpful for all of them. So that's going to take some time to come up with that plan. And then it's going to take some time to implement that plan and perfect that plan. Number 3, the con is more collaboration within schools. It's hard to us teachers to collaborate with each other to decide, hey, did you talk to the students' parents? Did you talk to the students' parents? What did they say? So the teachers kind of need to also be on the same page when they're working with the same students. So me as a SPED teacher needs to work with the regular ed teachers, as well as all of our different subject teachers. They need to be able to collaborate with each other. So it's going to take more collaboration there, but overall it's going to be a positive thing in the end. I think that there's some myths about communication with parents. One being that we only contact parents when there's a problem. Yes, that is like the main reason why we would contact a parent is if there's a problem, if they're failing, if there's behavioral issues. But I do like to reach out and just send a quick text to my parents like, hey, so-and-so did super good today. I'm very proud of him. Let him know that I did acknowledge that while he was in class today. Or, hey, he turned in all his assignments this week. I'm super proud of him. I do that as well. Sometimes it's not with a phone call, but just a quick text or a quick email. But it's still communication. So I think I might need to get better at that. Parent-teacher conferences are a good place that I do praise my students. But those random phone calls sometimes are when there's a problem, but those quick texts, hey, he did good. Hey, she turned in all her work. She got 100 on her vocab quiz. Things like that, I feel like are something positive that I do communicate with my parents, but I do need to work on that a little bit more. So, last chapter in Contemporary Issues in Special Education. I think it's a super important chapter. Everybody needs to work on their communications between home and school. So I hope you guys enjoyed these videos and learned a little bit about issues in special education.